morning, everyone. My name is Will Haichu, and today I'll be presenting my negative externality, which is secondhand smoke. A negative externality is when a group or group's actions cause a cost or an adverse side effect to be felt by others. Secondhand smoke came to mind first when we started doing this project. Obviously, tons of people across the United States smoke cigarettes on a daily basis, and about 20% of the nation smokes, and then the other 80% has to deal with the negative externality that comes with that. So that came to mind first, and so we dove into a little bit in depth of secondhand smoke. There are two different kinds: side stream smoke, which is directly from the cigarette, and mainstream smoke, which is exhaled from the cigarette user. Secondhand smoke is a massive problem because of the large number of people that smoke cigarettes across the country. Estimated that about 42 million people in the U.S. smoke, and that's about 18% of the adult population. And tobacco companies keep pushing their advertising so strongly because they have a massive revenue coming in, and their consumer base is very consistent because of the nicotine that addicts the consumer. It was estimated that $23 million per day was spent on advertising by tobacco companies in 2011. So that gives you a little bit of an estimate, an idea of how much these tobacco companies are bringing in to let alone spend $23 million a day. Tobacco companies know exactly how addictive cigarettes are because of that nicotine. So they know that they could drive up the prices and their consumers will keep coming back. The demand is extremely inelastic, and that demand is going to stay there pretty much regardless of where the price goes. The average pack of cigarettes in Ohio costs about $6.22, so you can imagine the money adds up quickly. Like I said earlier, 80% of the adult population smokes cigarettes, or has to deal with the negative side effect, the negative externality that comes with the 20%. So to me that doesn't make sense. Why should the majority have to deal with the minority? And some of these side effects that the majority has to deal with are breast cancer, heart disease, lung cancer, and asthma. So I know a lot of us have known people that have had to deal with these different side effects and have become infected with maybe breast cancer or heart disease. So it's a massive problem. In the past 10 to 15 years, however, there's been a strong push in federal and local government to cut back on the public usage of cigarettes. Everyone knows that you have to be 18 years or older to use tobacco in the United States. In 2009, the FDA banned flavored cigarettes to make them less appealing to children. So as you can imagine, a child, a teenager growing up, they might want to smoke that cigarette if it tastes like candy, or if it has a sweet taste, but maybe not if it actually tastes like a real cigarette. In 2010, the FDA banned misleading advertisement and established new tobacco warnings. And last year, the FDA gave $53 million to establish 14 tobacco centers of regulatory science for research for the side effects of cigarettes. So as I dove into the different details of the negative externality of secondhand smoke, I was trying to think of some solution to come up with. And when I thought about it, I came up with two proposals to help eliminate the negative externality of secondhand smoke. The first is that if you're on public property, you just can't smoke, period. So if you're out walking the streets, if you're out on campus, you can't smoke to endanger the health of that 80% of the population. Why should the minority dictate the majority? And the second proposal would be if you're on your own private property, you're allowed to smoke. However, if you have children under the age of 18, you can't smoke inside the house. And I think that would be a good idea because if you have a child, let's say teenager, 8, 10 years old, they don't know all of the dangers that come along with secondhand smoke. And they could be intaking all that and not know everything that comes along with it. Both laws would help eliminate the innocent people being harmed by secondhand smoke and cut down on the negative side effects that are felt by a lot of people around the country. And it also protects the uneducated children that had to deal with maybe their parents or their uncles and aunts smoking around the house. These two proposals would be punishable by arrest and followed by a fine or jail time depending on the severity. So let's say you're just out in public and you're smoking a cigarette, you may catch a fine, but if you're caught to be smoking with a child in the house, I mean, that's pretty severe, so maybe punishable by jail time. Secondhand smoke is a massive problem. It needs to be eliminated and can only be eliminated through strict restrictions. Thank you.